From almost the very beginning of the development of media technology, the church has found a way to make use of that technology in order to get the hope of the gospel out to the world. Some do it with great intentions, some for profit, but the history is a long one and can be seen throughout the centuries. The first major development came in 1450 with the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg. For the first time, the scriptures could be mass-produced and distributed to all people across the world. This also created a desire for people to have their own copy, but also for it to be in their own language so that all could understand. This was the first of many major developments for church media. Then, in the late 1800s, radio technology began to surface and be used. The names of Guglielmo Marconi and Nikola Tesla are two of the bigger contributors when it comes to radio technology. Alexander Bell's company played a big part in setting up the use of radio in the U.S. Then, on Christmas Eve, 1906, the very first religious broadcast hit the airwaves. In 1921, Westinghouse used a religious service to test the new technology of remote broadcasting at Calvary Episcopal Church in Pittsburgh. It was a success, a hit, and soon after the station began conducting tests, KDK offered a Sunday evening service broadcast from Calvary that ran all the way through the year 1962. This technology was embraced by some, but as with any change, it was met with detraction, as many Christians believed it to be at best unnecessary and to the extreme just plain wrong. The next step in technology was the invention of the television. Then, on Easter Sunday, 1940, a Catholic archbishop by the name of Fulton Sheen stepped to the pulpit and preached to a television audience for the very first time. From there, the world of media in the church would only explode and grow. Many took to the new avenue for sharing the gospel and preaching the word. Men such as Oral Roberts, Rex Humbard, Jimmy Swaggart, Jim Baker, and Billy Graham took to the airwaves and developed ministries to reach the masses through television broadcasts. Eventually, they would become household names. What began as simple broadcasts has now grown into, in some cases, multi-million-dollar networks. We now have entire channels such as the CBN or local radio markets such as 104.7 The Fish and J93.3 here in our area of Atlanta devoted entirely to Christian broadcasting. These networks and the thousands like them across the world represent the clear evolution of the church increasingly using media and technology to get the message of Jesus to the masses across the world. Now, with the invention and explosion of the internet, the avenue for the use of media and technology is even greater and reaches far wider than it ever has before. No longer is it dependent on professionals or networks to make use of media technology. The power can be in the hands of any church if it should choose. For example, the invention of the podcast enables every church to record and post their service to be viewed by anyone across the world. The growth of digital music enables Christian artists to more easily get their music out to the masses. Blogs have made it much easier for Christians from all denominations and all walks of life to be able to share their theological views. Sites such as WordPress open the door for anyone with a computer to openly share what God may have laid on their hearts with the entire world or even just a few people. Then social networking such as Facebook can connect and deepen community within the church when it's used correctly. Twitter allows for the thoughts and ideas of people to be shared and spread quickly. YouTube can turn anyone to an overnight success. As it relates to the church, a person can record their own sermons, songs, skits, and a whole host of other elements that can show Jesus to the world. This explosion of technology could be bad for the church. And you would be right. A lot can go wrong with this much availability and exposure. But we cannot pass up the created opportunities because there are some dangers. Millions and millions of people can be exposed to the gospel if the church utilizes technology effectively and responsibly. These avenues may not be perfect, but they are tools that should be utilized, developed, and corrected if necessary so that Jesus can be glorified and His name proclaimed to the world. While some abuse the use of media for profit or power, still others do well to glorify Christ in a world that needs Him so desperately. So, I would encourage you to be careful and wise in using media and technology, but also not to discount it, for there are many great uses that could benefit your church's mission and Jesus' name across the world.